It's the Exit 52 podcast, presented as always by Jimmy's Famous Seafood. My name is Jake Louque. I am on Demon Time, and I am joined on my screen by King Gentlespan Crankshaw. Saturday night, December 27th. How are we doing, my friend?
Hear ye, gather around the field, where mighty Derrick Henry makes the defense yield. A titan who tramples with unstoppable might. One stiff arm sends his foes into flight. He charges like thunder, a runaway train, bringing fear to linebackers again and again. Tacklers bounce off of him, none stand a chance. All hail King Henry, ruler of the run and of the dance. Long live King Henry!
Henry, a hero, Henry. The fellow who helps his fellow man. Henry, reliable Henry. He gets the job done the best he can. Yeah, fun win. Listen, fun win. Ravens go into Lambeau Field. They win 41-24 here on a weird Saturday night spot. I was talking to you guys in the group chat. It felt like we were kind of in the Catalan zone here in prime time. We'll see if Taylor joins us to break down that broadcast, but kind of a positive Catalan zone here with Baby Bird, Noah Eagle, and Todd Blackledge on the call. But yeah, I mean, your prime storyline here. After what felt like a nadir in what has been a nadir valley of a 2025 season for the Ravens, where they take that big fat L to the Patriots, where they're just completely negligent in their use of Derrick Henry in the fourth quarter of that game. You know, it might be too little too late, but you got to give him credit. I think I saw Big Cat tweeting John Harbaugh, like this was I fucked up game from John Harbaugh, where you give the ball to Derrick Henry for a career high 36 carries, 4 touchdowns, total yardage of 216 on the ground. Just bully ball, total bully ball. It was right from the first drive. I think he cooled off a little bit towards kind of the meat of the game, but then when they needed him to go and close it out, he went and did that for him, punching in that 4th touchdown. It felt like kind of an exclamation point on what was a statement of a night from him. And like I said, the win, it might be inconsequential, but it was a lot of fun. And if this was the last fun moment for the Ravens in 2025, fun, good way to go out, good vibes. I'm feeling good, and I'm happy about it.
You know, in the locker room right about now, Henry and Huntley came out, did their post game on the cock and got their game balls, and they asked them about the Browns, stuff like that. But the Baltimore Ravens, I can hear John Harbaugh, and who knows, maybe it's his second to last game, maybe it's his last win. You never know. As the Baltimore Ravens head coach saying, we ran the ball 53 times for 307 yards. Derrick Henry, 36 carries, 216 yards, and 4 touchdowns. And Jake, you know what gets me horny when there's a rushing line like that, and Derrick Henry's longest run was 30 yards. So running for 206 without a 70-yard run, without a 50-yard run, without a 40-yard run is really impressive. The Ravens kicked some ass tonight. And I'll never get enough, Jake. I don't think, and I know you feel the same way in ways. They could have ran it more. They ran 53 times for 300 yards, and they could have ran it more.
You were saying this in the group chat when they had the couple passing plays in a row down by the end zone.
In the red zone, two drives in a row, they end up going, I think, first down, rush, pass, first down, rush, pass, and kicking 2 field goals out of that. So maybe there's just something wrong with me. I don't know. But I wanted even more than that. There was a bloodlust for running the football. And, hey, the Packers were beat to shit. No Micah Parsons, no Devontae Wyatt. They lost a couple other cats along the way to some injuries. But goddamn, man, watching Tyler Linderbaum and Ronnie Stanley and Isaiah Likely and Pat Ricard and Mark Andrews and Zay Flowers whip around, block, and watching Henry, the way he moved tonight, he had the right cleats, the right meal in his belly. He was full of mead and turkey leg and all the things that the king gets at the king's feast, at the king's table, and looked incredible. So the best thing the Ravens have done, I tweeted, the best thing the Ravens have done in the last 2-3 years, I mean, is sign Derrick Henry to this football team. And one of the worst things they've done, and I'd say especially this year, is not lean on him to this degree. We're going to go down getting under center with a diverse run game and pounding the living fuck out of the ball. And the Packers defense, without Micah Parsons, without Wyatt, without a couple other cats, like I said, but still, you broke their will. You did it in Lambeau. You did it in a Holiday, in a packed house, and a team that wants to win that division. So it was awesome to watch. It was cool. It was bittersweet in some ways, but it was cool. And I think there is a beauty in taking this one performance and thinking about Derrick Henry, the football player, and thinking about his time in Baltimore. While it's maybe not the longest ever, we'll see. Hopefully it is very long. We'll knock on wood for him, that he can keep this train rolling like a fucking Emmitt Smith. He's built different. It was cool, man. It was just cool to watch. It was fun getting him the ball out, that fourth touchdown, tossing the ball out, letting him go cap it off, letting him be the Hall of Fame back that he is, as you pull up the usage here, which is perfect. That's perfect.
Look at those touchdowns.
Look at that. Look at that balance of A, B, C, D gap. Both sidelines, explosive runs. Look at that.
It's insane. I mean, 36 carries he had hit. I think his previous career high was 34. So he hits that 34 mark, gets up to 35, and then 36 to cap it off there with the touchdown. Yeah, man. Just like you're saying it perfectly there, where it's like, you don't know what the future is going to hold. You don't know if it's going to be here in Baltimore again next year, or however much longer it's going to be. But, it was just, it was a lot of fun with him kind of being the lead storyline here, which, like a lot of people very correctly pointing out, this is what should have happened last week. This, could have probably made this game a lot more consequential if it had. And it's, it is a little bittersweet to look back on that. But, if this was kind of quote unquote then this was a lot of fun to watch. And it was really cool to be witness to what was maybe the most dominant performance of his career. He's had a lot of very dominant games in more consequential spots, but it just felt like the Packers defense did not have an answer for them. And you were right, with them missing Parsons and some of the injuries they sustained throughout the game. It felt like just an absolute, unfortunately I didn't load a picture here. I should have, but it just felt like an absolute cheese grater being taken to this Packer defense where, no answers. And looking in that chart, they didn't have an answer to him going any which way along the field. Couple nice spells from Keaton Mitchell here and there to keep them honest. And then, we don't have to go to him immediately here, but Snoop Huntley, what a freaking game from him, man. He's just proved himself to be the perfect backup for this team. I think he's a different and better quarterback than he was when he came into the league, as we've already talked about, but this kind of really solidified it for me. And, I kind of jokingly predicted, not joking that they were going to lose. I did think they were going to lose this game, but I jokingly predicted that they'd get in their own way again, and there'd be some kind of late defensive hijinks, and then the Ravens would come within a point of winning, a 2-point conversion of winning this game. They'd target Mark Andrews and they'd lose, just like they did the last time they played the Packers with Huntley at quarterback. And, it didn't come down to that, because they did what they had to do on offense. They didn't get in their own way, and the defense made a couple of key plays. I get one of them being with Clayton Tune out there on the field. And a ball kind of bouncing generously in Marlon Humphrey's way, who has just turned into, as Eric would put it, the Colton Cowser of this team, where it's strikeout, home run. So, a little bit of a rough game at times for this defense, but they made the key plays where they were supposed to. And the Ravens knew exactly who they were. They knew what their strengths were on offense, and they played into it. And I don't know about the ceiling of this team, even if they had leaned into that all year. I still don't know if the talent level is Super Bowl quality. But if they had done that, they probably could have won at least one or two more games here. So that's disappointing, but it does give me a little bit of hope that you can lean more into this. And I know there's going to be a lot of Fire Harbaugh comments in here, and people kind of worried that, this and then them miraculously making the playoffs could save his job. I totally get all that. But me personally, I'm going to save that worry for when it ultimately does happen. And for now, kind of just enjoy this and imagine the possibilities if they do kind of move forward into a new future, but not throw the baby out with the bathwater, and just continue to know that this is what this franchise is supposed to be. The bullies that go into your house, kick the door down, and just run over you. Awesome to watch. Awesome to watch.
I think Tyler Huntley knows who he is and has committed to getting better in the areas of a specific game that he's confident in now. He is a quick rhythm passer that can run fast, and he is not someone that needs to push the ball down the field a ton. It helps to have a run game, and I think he's gotten cleaner operating the run game and taking command of the offense. We saw him check at the line of scrimmage several times in this game too, commanded it, and I think that can I say something crazy?
Yes.
There's a comment in here, and I loved Lamar with the cheese head after, things like that. Where was a comment? Optimistic Reds fan here said the team plays with more fire with Huntley odd season. And you made a very nice comment to me about, earlier in the week, like a dog takes on the personality of its owner. I think a football team takes on the personality of its quarterback a little bit.
And its coach.
And its coach. And I think that Huntley is quick. He is alert. I think that he is quiet and goes about his business. And I think the Ravens do that when he plays a little bit more. I think when Lamar plays, they go for the kill shot. It's more aggressive. It's deep passing. It's playmaking. It's some of those things. So I think just a little bit. I don't think it's like this earth-shattering thing. And we've already done the whole Huntley-Lamar thing before in the past and da-da-da-da-da. It was awesome to watch Huntley. Huntley is a great backup quarterback. And, maybe he can be a guy like Jacoby Brissett. And maybe Jacoby Brissett, after what he's done with the Cardinals this year, ends up getting a shot. Maybe Huntley ends up getting a shot. Maybe Malik Willis, who was awesome in this game. The Ravens, I could go on and on about the Ravens corners and some of the lack of discipline. Alohi Gilman, I thought, played poorly several times early on in this game too. The DBs in general. Kyle Hamilton, I think, made a big mistake mentally early in this football game. It seemed weird.
Weird. Like it felt like they were playing too high, but like there was a lot of like stuff still being hit in the honey hole down the sideline too. Like just kind of, I didn't really understand what the technique the corners were playing. And I'm sure like you could watch the all-22 and explain it better to me, but it's like, why is there like an open zone there? Like somebody's supposed to have the short coverage and then something right over top of that when you're playing too high like that. But we can save that.
You're spot on. When you're playing too high, usually there's flat defenders a lot of the time, or it's a curl to flat. So it'll be like your will and your nickel will be playing like curl to flat. So they'll be like taking a lateral drop into the flat. And it was just sloppy. And I thought Nate Wiggins played really poorly. I thought Marlon Humphrey played really poorly. It was a lot of eyes in the backfield and a lot of drifting out of where they were supposed to be. I don't think that Nate Wiggins had technique. To me, it was just like focus on your technique and your pedal and your assignment. And it was this weird, I don't know. And maybe that initial shot, he had okay coverage there. The ball snuck in over his arm. Maybe that initial shot just rattled him. Marlon, with the funniest season, guys gotten beaten up on the outside really badly. They're playing him on the outside a lot again tonight. And he had a really rough night. And both of them got beat by Malik Willis, given up. Alohi Gilman also got on that too. The first one was Gilman and Marlon just sinking into the mix. I don't think Gilman even needed to fit that run from where he was as aggressively as he did if it would have been in the inside handoff. But yeah, it was, no, you were spot on. And they were leaving that area. Even just the quick hitters, Malik Willis was tearing them up on the speed outs and those underneath perimeter throws. And maybe that was by design a little bit, but I think the corners didn't play it well either. No, I would say it was by design a lot. I would say that was the game plan. Like get Malik Willis to throw the ball hard, far, see if we can jump one, keep it underneath. And that's kind of been, it's been, but don't break. Like it fits into what you've talked about so much. And the idea that we're going to make them go the long, hard way, especially after that deep shot they hit and the deep one up the seam, they really started playing conservatively. And I think it bit them in the ass a little bit. I do think Malik Willis played really well. Also, I do want to credit him. I think that the Ravens made it a little easier, especially those corners, but I do think he played really well. He was tough to bring down, threw the ball in rhythm. Him and Huntley both were getting the damn ball out and getting it to the right read, getting it to the primary read. They were both running the show at the line of scrimmage. So good for both of them. Both of them put on some really good tape tonight that should make them money. And if nothing else, like those guys are fucking Luke McCown status now. Josh, like they're going to be long time. When you play like that a couple times, you're going to get paid a lot of money being a backup quarterback.
Yeah, Christopher Moltisanti. They've been brought into that basement and they are getting the candle burned in front of them. They are in the club now.
Yes, that was amazing. Yes, they are in the club. Malik Willis is in the club. Tyler Huntley's in the club. Tyler Huntley's got All-State commercials. Malik Willis and him should do All-State commercials together.
Yeah,
the backup quarterback. So those are fantastic. And we have a comment here. Turner W. Rita, our good friend Rita, calling Hump a safety. Maybe it's time. He's a nickel. And sure, nickel can play some safety and he can go play some of those things. Definitely, he should not be playing on the boundary anymore. The speed's not just there, but the hilarity of him having such a bad year in coverage on the boundary when he's had to play there and having so many picks. I think that was the third one, I think, that's fallen in his lap. He had the deep pick with Justin Jefferson downfield which was Justin Jefferson kind of falls down, right? Was that it?
I think so. And then he was kind of like running weirdly.
Justin Jefferson fell down.
Yeah, he was like running weirdly after it. I don't know if he
yes. It was Justin Jefferson. Yes, that one was kind of. I mean, he had one hand and was able to just grab it. So, hilarious year for a hilarious player. I know he's tough, and I know people look at that contract. I don't think he's going to play on that contract next year, but good for him. Marlins put a lot into the on the field product. He was so good last year. He's been so good so many times, and so many years for the Ravens, and he's having a bad year, and good for him having some balls find his lap, and has 4 picks this year. So a guy that couldn't catch a cold early in his career can't now do the other things quite as well in the boundary, but can catch the football, I guess.
You gotta take those where you can get them to. This is a turnover averse defense at times. So like to have guys that do have the ball, A, fall in their lap, and then B, catch it. That is something that you do not want to take for granted, considering a defense that has difficulty turning over the football as well as getting consistent stops when you need them. So great to see that. You mentioned the stone hands and him developing them into a real set of hands. That's been nice to see. And realistically, like if you want to talk about moving to safety or moving him more inside, like ball skills are the last to leave these guys a lot of the time. Like you remember essentially the corpse of Ed Reed playing for the Texans and the Jets. He was still able to get a couple of picks over that just accursed time.
They know where the ball is going more than ever. They know where it's headed. It's a question of if they can still get there.
Yeah, exactly. It's like quarterbacks, like they like watching Peyton in his last year. He knew exactly like what needed to happen. He just couldn't always physically execute upon it. So yeah, maybe that could be a thing for Marlon there.
Definitely. We got number here, super chat, insider info. And I mean this, Marlo put up his condo for sale at Liberty downtown. He gone. Maybe. And I'll always love Marlon. I know he's been a weird guy at times and a off the beaten path guy. And that's why I love him. That's why we love him. Thanks for the super chat, Numera. Knows he put it up there. But yeah, defensively.
Owe sold his place. My buddy is getting a nice little cut off of that, by the way.
Shout out to Big Easy there, the E-Man. Yep,
the Beareth.
The Bear. So Huntley, I want to talk more about Huntley. It was a great Huntley game too. And he did have a thunderous run game to build off of. And shout out to Tyler Linderbaum. I bet if you look at his PFF grade in 24 hours, I bet it's pretty high in the run game. He was whipping all around, whipping work, but Huntley made a couple really nice tight window throws. Malik Willis both. They did that Zay Flowers touchdown. Really nice play. Zay Flowers, I think he had maybe 30 yards in this game. Let's see. He had 4 receptions on 5 targets for 30 yards and a touchdown. Had 2 really, really big boy catches coming off of that fumble, coming off of some weird stuff. Had the third down early on, just kind of ran a stop, like an option against zone. And the DB was draped all over him. He hands caught the football, ripped it away, got down while pulling himself forward to move the chains. And then that touchdown was I
didn't see him get a third foot down on the touchdown nor make any kind of football move or anything. So that probably should have been either a catch or a fumble going through the end zone and then give that back to the Packers.
The listeners would have had to have a lot more super chats coming in because I was about to commit war crimes if that was ruled a fumble. That is
Terry. They threw it over to Terry, and I think Taylor's going to join here. He said he's going to. They threw it over to Terry for that, and you could hear like the fear in his voice of like not knowing what the hell.
Yes.
Like he was like, I think it's a touchdown, guys. He had a little Romo going on. I was like, dude, like let's just get.
He sounded like take this away for his. He was very quick to send it back to the in-game crew.
I think he said from it. It was like a one-word answer. He was like, yes. And like, just go back. Like, well, let's not even discuss this.
Quiet.
And they brought it up. They're like, the Ravens have had some calls here go their way in some situations this season. I was like, thank you, Noah Eagle, for pointing that out. And let's just all move on. I can't do this. Is Jelly Roll a veneers guy?
I don't pay enough attention to Jelly Roll like Eric does to know. But
the music.
Jelly Roll, Tyler Huntley, Freddie.
I get why people are, maybe not in love with the guy. Put on a great show at Country Calling 2 years ago. I'm a Jelly Roll fan. I'll say it.
There you go. Taylor says it was the exact same thing as a likely touchdown. So it was Eric's freaking out in the chat here. It was a clean game offensively. The only error that I saw was simply not running the ball in those 2 red zone sequences where they kick the 2 Tyler Louque field goals down there and just not getting there all the way. We got the name of this gentleman again in the chat here. Complosive called it. Henry 55 attempts. Yep, 53 rushes, 300 and some odd yards there. So it was a vindicating performance for this offensive line. And I know that, again, I'll say bittersweet. I think it's nice to separate this game and separate Derrick Henry. And I say he had a tough year. What does he have? 1,300 yards and
16 touchdowns.
16 touchdowns now. And not surprised to see that be 1,517 touchdowns in back-to-back years. But it is a little tough. Watching this offensive line able to move some bodies. It was the Packers beat up, but tough to – and it goes all the way back. I think there's plenty of comments in here in the chat. I could scroll up a bunch, but why is that not what you're doing with Lamar more? Why is it not more under center run game? And that's what we've been yelling about on this podcast, Jake, for episodes. When they lose games, it's like, let the big fella calm it down. And he's had some fumbles, and he'll take responsibility for those, absolutely. But calm it down, get it under center, make teams respect it. The amount of games where the Ravens this season have only run 40 to 55 offensive plays, when you do have Henry, when this offensive line has struggled in pass pro, when Lamar's been beat up, and you weren't able to just resist the urge to fight the itch to call the pass play, Todd and John's oversight to whatever degree, like, calm this fucking thing down. We had Brian at the game. Brian said that he basically watched John last second, like, flip out and be like, Henry was on the sideline in a jacket and was like, get him the fuck in there.
Was John holding a play sheet?
Yes, he was holding a play sheet and he was talking a lot.
That's
just too little too late, John. Too little too late, buddy.
Yeah, it is. And it makes you wonder. And it makes you wonder about, like, his comments about, oh man, really wish we had gotten Derrick Henry in there last week. It's like, yeah, like you listen, you are very much an active participant in this. Like, we can only bemoan that after the fact. You actually have the agency to do something about it. And it was nice to see him do it tonight, but, like, man, if that costs him his job here, he's going to look at this game and be like, well, shit. Yeah, I really did fuck up. Shout out to Big Cat.
He did. And also I'll say this, I didn't expect the Steelers to beat the Lions. I think, like, when we looked at this, the Ravens obviously lost to the Bengals, lost to the Steelers, which kind of was the real death sentence, but 1-1 against the Patriots and Packers. That's what they needed to do. They needed to beat the Bengals on Thanksgiving, really, and then go 1-1 against these teams. They needed to go 1-1 against the Steelers and Bengals in that sequence, and then go 1-1 here. And they would be in position headed into next week. And they didn't. They dropped 2 of those games, and then they dropped the game to the Patriots. So they didn't get the job done in that regard. Coulda, shoulda, woulda, a lot this year. A lot. But it was, I guess, nice in a way to watch them get those monkeys off their back, to watch them vindicate themselves, to see what could have been, whatever. It's like the ghost of Christmas, past, present, and fucking future. John Harbaugh will be haunting you on the sideline. If it's, let's say, hypothetically, Brian Flores, don't do what I did, Brian. Just run the ball, Brian. Like, oh my God. So we'll see. We can talk about the Steelers and all that stuff. I don't know, man. I don't know. We got Taylor here, says Tyler Louque perfect tonight. Taylor's boy. But I don't know. Just it's unfortunate. And Jake, you made the comment. You're like, I think this team's too flawed. And I agree. And I think the interior pass rush is the big kicker. Travis Jones has really stepped up, I'd say, the last month or so. Been able to get some pressure. Last week was a little bit tough, but I feel like everyone in the AFC is flawed. I feel like it's who's not flawed. Like the Rams kind of I look at the Rams as a team where they're probably the most balanced. They can run the ball, throw the ball underneath, throw the ball deep. They can play a little bit of coverage. They can get some pressure. They can stop the run to a degree. So I look at them, and maybe the Steelers. Maybe. Like, I don't know, man. I'll make one last excuse for Johnny Boy on here. And I do think he's going to be gone. But I still am astounded. I'll never get over Aaron Rodgers coming out the way he did in Baltimore and bombing the ball downfield and then fucking booting and doing the discount double check. That was one of the more shocking, random things I can recall. When we did the preview episode, I was like, end this guy's fucking career and kick Tomlin out of town. The Bills beat the snot out of him. Rodgers looked horrible. He had that like confused, oh my God, I'm in pain look on the ground like he had from years ago with his chin strap up by his fucking eyes. And man, oh man, like Steelers just rebounded. You got to give them some credit. They fucking bounced back all of a sudden. Their offense is efficient, and their defense can get after it in all three aspects of what you need to do defensively. So weird season, man. This was a fun one, but a weird season.
Yeah, very weird. And yeah, man, it's sorry, I'm just doing some producing here in our group chat. Yeah, man, it makes you think. Makes you think a lot about what could have been. And like, I'll go back to, what I said and what you just confirmed, like the quality might not totally be there, but it does make you wonder, like, what would this look like with a Brian Flores or somebody who maybe could get a little bit more talent out of this defense, even with the issues with the interior pass rush and, obviously even the exterior pass rush. Like, Trey Jones, I thought was active tonight. I don't think he had like a great game necessarily. Mike Green recovering that fumble was nice to see. Just kind of being around the ball is good, but you definitely want more from up there. But man, when we were talking at the beginning of the show about some of the weird coverages and the soft spots in the defense that a guy like Malik Willis is just picking apart, it's like, you just really can't have that. And like, I tweeted something to the effect of when the Ravens were up 10 late in the game, Packers get the ball back. It was the drive that Willis got hurt on. I was like, the Ravens offense, like, and this goes into the Henry thing. I was like, you guys better be ready for your best 4-minute offense that you've ever called. If you're Todd Monken and John Harbaugh, like, you got to be ready to go kill this clock with Derrick Henry, because we all know exactly what is about to happen. And of course I meant that Malik Willis was going to somehow hurt his clavicle on just a routine pass to the right side. Clayton Tune would come in the game and throw an inexplicable interception of Marlon Humphrey. Of course, that's what I meant. No, I meant that, of course, the Packers were going to drive down the field for a touchdown and you would have to salt the game away, which they were very well on track to do until Tune had to come into the game. So, I'm not going to let them off the hook for that, but it's just like, when I'm thinking that, and I'll go back to what Brian said, like, we cannot keep having this conversation of like, we know exactly what's going to happen. It happens. Then we get on this podcast and we're just dumbfounded, and Harbaugh is equally dumbfounded at the presser. It's like, that's just absolutely when something has to change. And man, it makes you think, it makes you wonder about a Brian Flores. I know Jesse Minter might have gotten pantsed a little bit today by the Texans. People are maybe not as hot on him as they were a few days ago, which is kind of funny.
He fucking baffled them. They came out hot, but then he baffled them from there on out. I will give him credit, because I was like, oh my God, Jesse. DB's out of position left and right, and then ended up picking off Stroud, I think, 3 times after it was 14-0.
Yeah, and if they do hire him, that would be good, because then we could do Jesse, we need to cook memes. So I'd be very excited about that. But a guy like that, a guy like Flores, Saleh.
Underrated thing. Is Jesse a head coach name?
That's tough. How many Jessies have there been? I can only really, like, Jesse NFL wise, I can only think of Jesse Palmer. I only think he had a cup of coffee in the NFL, if he even played at all.
I don't know if Jesse's a head coach name. I'm sorry, guys. Jesse James, but that's different.
Yeah, that's true.
James in the NFL.
Yeah,
I don't think we've had very many Jessies overall. I don't know if Jesse's a football name. I don't know if it's a head coach name.
Yeah, that is a good now that I think about it, there'd be so many Jesse Pinkman memes. There'd be a lot of Aaron Paul, like, in desperation gifs going around. He can't keep getting away with this. Jesse James, but she has an I in there, Eric. It's Jesse with an I at the end.
Eric, grow up. Yeah. Get it right. You come in my wife's house. You come in my house. You get my wife's name right. It's Christineth.
All right, let me get this link out to Uncle T here if you want to filibuster for me.
There we go. Just overall, I mean, again, Tyler Huntley, like, we saw a version of this offense that was simple and straightforward and pounded the fucking rock, and it just doesn't make sense. And I get the fumbles, but it just doesn't make sense in hindsight that you weren't able to simplify what you were doing and walk away from games with Derrick Henry covered in paint and blood and touchdowns. And I think that's the bittersweet aspect. But again, I mean, you got that guy next year too. And I think the biggest, the easiest statement of tonight is Derrick Henry officially not washed. Like, officially not washed.
Yeah, I think that was silly talk to begin with. And I don't, it's just like, that's something people have been trying to push since he left the Titans. Like I think back to that his first game with the Ravens against the Chiefs.
Look at his yards per carry on a bad Titans team that was post AJ Brown.
Yeah, I think it was literally the first drive of that game. People were like, "Oh my God, Derrick Henry, watch!" And it's just like people are just so quick to like try to bury guys. And a dude like that, like when he obviously had those down years with bad Titans teams, and then he comes over here, and it's just you're very quick to try and put these guys 1 foot into the grave. And I don't know, especially with a guy like that who you've talked about. I know you're super fascinated by the advanced biometric stuff that he does and all the workouts and everything. Like he's just at the cutting edge of all that stuff. And he's still in his early 30s. And I know he's been around for a while. What was he, 2016 draft? I know it's
about to turn 32 on the 4th.
Yeah, 30. Listen, that's still very young, by the way. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. 32, an incredibly young age. And
you're telling me, buddy. You're telling me.
And anyone younger than that is very, very young too. So
I will say that the fumble in Buffalo might have been what ruined this Ravens season. Like him letting Ed Oliver rip that ball out one way or another. It was a great play by Oliver, sure. But that to me was a killer, an absolute killer. And then after that, the Ravens obviously started 1-5. They go 18 carries, 169 yards, 2 tuds in that Bills game. Knifing through them. Browns, 11 carries, 23 yards. And they ended up dropping 40 on the Browns, to be fair. Lions, 12 carries for 50 yards. They got away from that in the second half. He did fumble late against the Lions, too. Also might have killed them. Chiefs, 8 carries. Texans, 15 carries. And they've been getting him the ball since then. 24, 21, 19, 20, 18, 21. Against the Bengals on Thanksgiving, 10 carries was unacceptable. Steelers, 25 carries in that game. Steelers played him well. Bengals, 11 carries, 100 yards. Ravens obviously took care of business in that one. And then last week, 18 against the Patriots. Did have a fumble there. So I'm sure you can just sense it's just nice. I don't know. I like Derrick Henry as a person and as a player. Obviously, he's so cool and wish his time in Baltimore was longer. Maybe it will be very long in the end. We'll see. He's a fucking alien. But you could just feel the frustration all season with the fumbles and him and DeAndre Hopkins. I think Henry, we saw crack a little bit. Like he came here to hopefully win a Super Bowl with Lamar Jackson. And that's the missing piece for both of those two players who are so accomplished, have the all-pros, have gotten the accolades, all that good stuff. And they also were frustrated this year. I think DeAndre Hopkins is a little bit like, oh, you even heard in some of the post-game press conferences, like, oh, I didn't, come here to see this. And then they ended up winning 5 straight and turning it to 6-5. But Henry, we've seen more frustrated. We ever seen him anywhere close to as frustrated this season as he's been. I don't think we've ever seen him flinch in his NFL career. And obviously I don't follow the Titans quite as closely as the Ravens, but watched a lot of Derrick Henry, watched a lot of football. And I don't remember him being as frustrated as he was this year. So it was really, really just nice. You feel good for the guy. There's a quote coming out right now. The Ravens posted, Derrick Henry just said, he told everybody, I got it today. Like I got it. And I'll say this too. Last week, they fucking apparently deliberated. It was him, Keaton, and Willie Taggart, the running backs coach, and they deliberated. It was like, Keaton's going to start it, and I'm going to end it. I wish that maybe Henry said, I got it. Then, too. And John should have said, Henry's got it. And Henry also should have said, I got it, I think. And Keaton Mitchell, perfect timing. Taylor, definitely part of our crew of, like, making fun of Keaton Mitchell a little bit. Had some nice plays in this one. Joins us in here. But I wish, Taylor, that Henry said last week also, like, I got this, boys.
Should we ever throw?
No.
We should not.
Why did they drop back 25 times in this game still?
Do we have enough time to install the triple option? Like, why would we throw? Like, what's throwing? Like,
what they got to do?
Why would you ever pass? I know Zay Flowers got touched about. Why would you ever pass? There's no need to pass. You just run, and then you get yards, and then you score. And then your defense can't stop anybody. Doesn't get on the field as much. Isn't that how football works?
Did Henry win a Heisman? Am I remembering that? Yeah. He did.
Oh,
I don't know that he did.
Sometimes I get it confused.
You're telling me this for the first time.
Sometimes Sometimes I get it confused with Mark Ingram. Hold on.
Well, that's what I was thinking. I would go back to the Heisman package. Get Taylor's guy RG3 out of the broadcast and the podcast.
He did win the Heisman in 2015. I should have been confident in myself. I knew that. I should have been.
Okay.
Oh,
So
I thought
do
you guys were fucking around. I thought that was a bit. I thought you guys were doing a bit.
I didn't remember it. It's like he's the most obvious guy to have won a Heisman of all time. But I was like, did he, or am I confusing that with Ingram? But they got to go back to the Ingram RG3 Lamar package. Go to the Heisman and get the get RG3 out of the booth.
Bring them all in. Troy Smith, Johnny Manziel, Cam Newton.
Johnny Manziel, that's
Marcus
fascinating.
Mariota might be available.
He might be. I feel like he's.
They could.
Travis Hunter's already washed. Bring him in. Trade for him.
A smoke signal down 95, and I'll be like, send us Marcus.
Yeah. Well, given what happened with the Falcons, he might just be like, no, I'm just gonna go back to Hawaii for week 18. You guys enjoy.
In all seriousness, that was an epic performance by the King. He was awesome. I totally agreed. I think Spenny might have had like 4 all caps tweets about this. Like, just continue to give him the ball. I don't really understand what happened on the 2 red zone trips when they just like that was like 45. It should have been 45 times, really. Like, I know they ran it like 53 total times. I think Derrick should have had it 40 plus times. There's just no need to do it. By the way, this is just random. I love that they saved kind of like the naked boot for the end of the game. That was freaking awesome. I love that Tyler Huntley got the first down there.
Tough run.
Yeah, like tough run. Tyler Huntley was also spectacular. I was not tuned in for the top of the show, so I'm sure you guys have covered a lot of this. He was totally in control tonight. Like that's the backup quarterback performance you dream about. You totally dream about. In control, executing the game plan, playing within their limits, making enough like splash plays off schedule to make the defense kind of think about it, and to like when that happens against Lamar Jackson, the opposing fan base are like, oh, okay. When Tyler Huntley scrambles for first downs, it's like, oh, we're still in the field. Oh, we're still in the field. And you can kind of see the Packers defense just wilt. Like, they wilted. I know that they were in the game, and it felt like there was some inevitability maybe to the Packers winning and a comeback and us coming on here and screaming about how bad the team is. But their defense never had it tonight. They never wanted to be in it. And you could kind of tell LaFleur's halftime interview, you could tell that he knew that their defense was just not up to it. When it was like, we're just that's about as bad as we could play. And he just looked like he was searching for answers. Within the like, there was no confidence there. Like, he knew he was playing with one unit tonight, and so it's an awesome win. It's an awesome win, and in the same way we crushed the coaching staff. Like, you have to give them props. I mean, I know defensively they didn't play well for much of the game, but they came out with a clearly defined offensive game plan and executed really well. Offensive line played well. Tyler Huntley in control, obviously. Yeah, big boy. That's exactly what he said. And you have to give this is a place where they could have wilted across the board. Hey, quarterbacks now in weird trade rumors. You have the like pre-end of the season what went wrong story come out early that everyone picks up on. You have your star quarterback not playing. You know, you could have easily like gone to Green Bay.
Sounds familiar.
Why are we playing here in 15-degree weather? And like, what is any of this for? And they did not do that. Like, they, came out and made enough plays, and even defensively, they didn't play well. Like, that Roquan Smith stop and 4th down is a massive play in the game. It's a massive play in the game. They made enough individual plays defensively. I know the pick is a horrendous drop by Bo Melton, who does not help out his 3rd string quarterback at all there, who's trying to kind of come in and figure it out. And that kind of ended the game, but it didn't end the game. The Ravens obviously had to end it themselves offensively, but it's just impressed by the resolve. Like I said, in the same way we questioned like what the culture in the building was. I mean, clearly they didn't give up this week. I mean, they were ready to go, offensively, and Malik Willis caused them some problems. And there was a reason the guy was at one point considered to be a high 1st-round pick when he was, he showed those type of tools. Obviously, he dropped pretty far down in the draft and is still kind of raw, but he showed you what made people think he could have been a star at one point, and it is what it is. Like,
no, I know you're watching Liberty football week in and week out too. So I know,
one of my favorite teams. One of my favorite teams.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was impressed. I was just impressed throughout. And look, it's the Derrick Henry game. Clearly, we could have done a 10-minute instant analysis, just said that and gotten off here, and we do this for an hour, so we do that. But I was impressed kind of across the board at the overall organizational resolve to go out there and win this game and at least give yourself a chance. And if the Steelers win tomorrow, it is what it is. You know, as you touched on, Spenny, like you could have beaten the Bengals on Thanksgiving. You could have done a million things to kind of put yourself in a position that this game definitely would have meant something. And they haven't done that. And that is ultimately what will cost people their jobs if that happens. But for this individual week, as we did last week, Jake, where we crushed them for, not being able to figure it out at home. Look, they got back to work this week and they went out and won a must-win game. Can't knock them. Like, can't do a ton to be super critical. And thankfully we don't, because it's a week we don't have to do the entire do you fire John Harbaugh gamut in a post game, and that's at least nice to have before
there's going to be plenty of time for that. Let me assure everyone listening that has commented that is going to be tweeting at us about that. Going to be plenty of time for that. I assure you, and maybe it'll be happening in a couple of weeks and we can, rejoice from there. But for now, just fun win, enjoy it as much as you can. And we're talking about the Henry thing and Taylor. I mean, we gotta throw this back. All credit to our guy, Chris, last week, when he kind of put it to Henry, like, let's get over the phone.
Finish the game. Derrick, finish the game. You're a star. Finish the game.
And then also on the
finger in his chest. Chris put his finger in his chest.
Put a bony, probably gnarled finger in his chest from his playing days and said, go finish the game. And then equally bewildered that the Ravens coaching staff didn't do it. So this was just everything that we wanted to see them do last week, executed pretty much to perfection here. So credit to all involved. Very nice.
By the way,
performance. It was professional.
Yeah.
And Taylor, I think you've said that a couple of times, and they rebound well, and to give John Harbaugh some credit, regardless of the Lamar era, regardless of eras, his record coming off of a loss is outstanding. And that's, I said he's maybe doesn't have a 100-mile-an-hour fastball, but he can still juice up to 95. And I think he threw 96, 97 tonight, and this week. And it's an easy spot to wilt. It was an easy spot to go hide and be done. And the backup quarterback again. I think we had a comment in here in the chat that said, was this the biggest roller coaster? Brock P said, is this the biggest emotional roller coaster season of the Lamar era? Arguably. I'd say arguably. Like, I remember I went to Cincinnati for the wild card game that Tyler Huntley played, and I drove up there. I ate the fucking chili. I went to Chris Collinsworth's Steakhouse, the Precinct, with some buddies. And, that going up to that week,
did you stop at
I didn't know if Lamar was going to play or not.
Urban Meyer's Steak and Chop House?
Chop House. I didn't know if Lamar was going to play. So we've done this a couple of times, and even the flair for the dramatics of the strategic, and I will side with them in this. I'll Dershowitz Harbaugh in this degree. Like, it was just so hilarious to me to see them. We're texting in our podcast group text. It's 5:30 and the Ravens haven't announced, and Jordan Love's been out for hours. And then it's 6 and the Ravens, and then it's 6:10. And it's like, oh my God, the game starts in 90 minutes and the Ravens haven't announced who's starting yet. And of course it was going to be Huntley. Lamar didn't practice. And of course they said, oh, Lamar could play without prep, and he wasn't going to play. But the flair of the strategy
especially considering their transgression with the injury report already this season, they really did durst them. They lawyered the fuck out of them on this one. And that's a credit to them. Is the fire John Harbaugh talk the McCarthyism of this era? I'm going to throw it out there.
I say yes. It's the big red scare.
The Dersh is going down swinging, and John Harbaugh might be too. Right, we're going to have to see
certainly might be. And it's just, I just can't. I can't really. It's impossible to say. Like, could the Ravens make a run in the playoffs if they got there? I don't know. I want to say no. I want to say they're flawed, but I watch the Texans, who I think are for my money. I think the Texans are the second best team in the AFC. I think them or the Bills are the two best teams. And I might put the Steelers third, to be honest, right around the Broncos. But watching them throw picks with a lead and CJ Stroud play like shit, like, they're flawed. They have an inconsistent offense overall. They don't have a dominant run game. The Bills, their defense is brutal. And Josh Allen has not been a superhero as much as usual, but he's had a good year. And I'm just looking around. I'm like, man, if they could just get in the dance, you never know. But I don't know. Probably not. Probably not. But the hopium, the copium, the actual opium, I'll smoke it all. And I want to see the Steelers lose tomorrow. I think it's perfect timing, and I'd love to see a million Josina Andersons created tomorrow.
You just created a million Josina Andersons. This is all the marbles for Taylor Smyth here tomorrow. Shedeur Sanders, Ravens season.
It really is. Yeah, I mean, it's tough. It's going to be tough for my guy. You know, you don't have Judkins tomorrow, which I think is really kind of what gives them the ability to win behind that defense is to have the option to run the ball.
Browns offensive line is so bad.
They're so bad. The backup running backs none of them are interesting. Dylan Sampson's is okay, I guess. It's going to be if Shedeur Sanders wins this game, this would be a legitimately impressive. Like they have nothing. Like they like them being in the game last week was impressive against the Bills.
Don't be talking that smack on my guy Harold Fannin.
I do like Harold Fannin. Like Jerry Jeudy's not even interested. I don't know.
3.5.
The season is going to come down to Jerry Jeudy.
The formula. And maybe it doesn't matter if he even got knocked out of the game. The formula is Myles Garrett lighting up Aaron Rodgers early in this game, and then it kind of could go down an interesting path. I mean, that's really kind of like not like
to get the sack record, which
like to get the sack record, he's gonna have like a superhuman game where they are just wrecking the Steelers from a pass rush standpoint, and it just becomes, oh my God, it's 13-7. Browns at the beginning, at the half. Ooh, the Steelers. And then the stadium is kind of nervy. Like I feel like that's kind of how Shedeur's going to have to figure out a way to hit a big play. I don't know. To me, the problem is this Ravens team has shown us who they are the entire year. I would not be confident at all in them winning next week against Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh. I mean, I just wouldn't. I mean, this is just they've been this team all year. That's why it's like when you have the would they do anything in the playoffs conversation, it's like, well, they've kind of shown us all year that they don't play with the consistency to like be a team that makes noise in the playoffs.
And they've shown us plenty when even if they're at their best, even when they're the Super Bowl favorite, they'll find a way to step on their own dick. Like so,
but it is nice to have it go for at least one more day. To have the chance to watch a weird Steelers loss to give us another week is a fun. And if it's over in the middle of the second quarter, that's okay. Like it is what it is. If you haven't come to terms with the Ravens season ending at this point, I don't know what to tell you. Everything is gravy from here. Winning tonight was gravy. Tomorrow is gravy. Like when you put yourself in a position where you don't control your own destiny, everything is gravy. So
as my guy Marty Mauser would say, dream big.
Yes. That's all you can do.
Derrick Henry.
He's been everywhere, huh?
Oh yeah.
Timmy C. He's been everywhere.
He might be. He
might be at this game tomorrow. He might be at Brown Steelers with a ping pong paddle.
Given his college game day appearance, I'd welcome it, and I'd hope
he's gotta be a New York team guy though. He's got to be a Jets or a Giants guy.
Yeah. I don't know if he's a huge NFL. I know he's a big basketball fan, so I don't know if he's a
Knicks guy. Yeah.
Timmy respects the pigskin. You know he does. Yeah. Derrick Henry set season highs in carries, rushing yards, touchdowns, and rushing yards over expectation against Green Bay. This is insane. This is his fourth career game with 100-plus rushing yards inside and outside the tackles. No other player has won such game in the next-gen stats era since 2016. He had 100 yards down their throat and 100 yards bouncing it to the sideline. Just all-time legacy game from Derrick Henry when they needed it. I'll remember this. And Taylor, you do say to play Devil's Dershowitz, I know you like that one.
I mean, that might just be like a proper noun at this point, but
they did walk away from that Steelers game saying, why didn't we keep it simpler? Why did we pound the rock? Because last year, after the Steelers gave them trouble for so long, for the entirety of the 2020s, they ran Derrick Henry down the Steelers' fucking throat and embarrassed them on primetime and then embarrassed them in the wild card round. So I'll smoke that copium. And coming off this Derrick Henry game, like Tractor Cito, I tweeted earlier that it's even more ridiculous because I tweeted that at halftime. I think he has 621 yards this December right now at 31 years old, about to be 32. Tractor Cito is oiled up and rolling. So it's That is what they need to be. And shout out to Ronnie Stanley, who Wally Williams, former Ravens offensive lineman, was talking shit, I think, on Preston and Jerry Coleman's.
You guys remember when Ronnie, I don't know if anyone remembers this or if this is just totally something that like I think back to a lot. When Ronnie got drafted, Wally Williams called him soft.
Yeah.
Like he just randomly took a shot at him. And now 10 years later, here's Wally Williams again, just talking shit on Ronnie Stanley. Like, what is the
Can I say I hadn't heard the name Wally Williams in my entire life before this week.
Really?
And I'm fine if that means that for some reason I don't have a particular brand of Ravens knowledge. But like, where did this guy come from? Like where did he get trotted out from? Like, no disrespect, NFL player, like knows more about football than I'll ever know. But like, what a guy to like come out and make news this week. Like,
he was in the Ravens, so I looked him up now.
So bizarre.
Yeah, I knew who he was, but he was only in the Ravens from 96 to 98. This isn't like a Super Bowl 35 guy. Like, it's
it's just fascinating that was the name. You trot out an Edwin Mulatalo, obviously a John Ogden, someone with some, that isn't that 2000 period. Obviously, there's good players on those 96 to pre-Super Bowl teams and whatever. I was like, Wally Williams? Like, I had to go look up when he played for the team. I was like, did I totally miss him? And more of like me paying attention in my youth. And I was like, no, 96 to 98. Like, I wasn't really tapped in necessarily at that age, but like
he was on the radio by the sound of it.
No, fair enough. I mean, fair enough. Look, and like I said, he can say whatever he wants. You play in the NFL, you criticize the guys. I was just like, wow, what a guy to be making news this week. Wally Williams. Not the person you expected. But yeah, I mean, they certainly responded to that criticism. They were tough tonight. Offensive line played one of their tougher performances of the season.
Spen, do you have a point on Wally Williams? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I gotta cut you off because I was just like, it's a stunning name to make news this week. Shout out to Wally.
I was gonna say, Ronnie Stanley said, I think it was like 5 weeks ago, coming off, maybe it was after Thanksgiving, after the Bengals game, or maybe it was before that, whatever their prior loss was. But he was like, the identity of this football team needs to be running the football. And Jake, you pulled up the next gen stats run chart, and it was toss left, toss right. Cole and I were, we were all messaged about it. It was pin and pull, but also zone tosses. It was counter. It was power. It was a little bit of duo. It was inside zone. It was outside zone. And it was power card. And it was the tight ends, and they were getting after it. And I think you look at PFF, I think you see good run block grades for Likely and Andrews, who were both so good last year. And I kind of feel like that is a little bit of an area where I came off the ball with the tight end group. I think Charlie Kohler has been really good blocking. I don't think Andrews and Likely have, and Likely did have an injury. Andrews been okay, but I don't think they've been as dominant as they were last year on the perimeter. I will give Zay Flowers and Rashad Bateman and DeAndre Hopkins credit. I think they've gotten even better this year. But Ronnie Stanley said that, and yeah, that's what I was going to bring up though. But like Wally Williams, it's like, oh, here's the Baltimore Sun shitting on Lamar, and here, let's bring in Wally Williams real quick to just stick a little knife in Ronnie Stanley for no reason. And honestly, actually, I'm enraged about that now that I think about it, and I've had 2 beers, 3 beers. I'm enraged. Fuck that. Ronnie Stanley was arguably, I'd say probably the second best left tackle in football, arguably behind probably Trent Williams, signed that contract extension. That injury fucked him up. We've talked about it. Taylor Lewan was really good at that time. He had a tough injury. Guess what? He couldn't get back to form. And there's someone else who's going to be David Bakhtiari on the Packers, relevant this evening. Also, those were like them, maybe Tunsil, couple other. That was like the best 5 left tackles in football. There's I've tweeted at one point, like, this is the golden age of left tackle play. And then Luan, Stanley, and Bakhtiari all got hurt. And guess which one of them didn't take the easy road out with $50 million in his pocket? Guess which one came back and clearly played through a lot of fucking nerve pain and pain in general, and clearly gave a shit and took a pay cut when he probably did play.
Huge.
Played good last year, Jake.
Yeah. Could
have hit the open market. The Ravens approached him. Guess who took a fucking pay cut? Ronnie Stanley could have gotten probably $60 million last year in free agency. I fucking bet. Tackles of that quality, even though he's not dominant anymore, get fucking paid. He probably could have got 3 years, $60 million, or 4 years, $80 million, some shit like that. Who knows? Maybe 4 years, $90 million from the Raiders or whatever random shitty team that has a bunch of cap space and no quarterback. I guarantee. So fuck that. Fuck Wally Williams. I'll say that. Fuck you, Wally Williams. Ronnie Stanley. No, fuck him. Ronnie Stanley has had a tough go here. And Ronnie Stanley played through a lot of fucking pain, and you could see it. And he's worked really hard to come back from it. So you call him soft. Fuck that. I have Ronnie Stanley's back. He has played through a lot and done a lot and came back on a team-friendly contract. So he's a great Raven. Fuck you.
I agree. And it's kind of just like it did feel a little opportunistic, a little bit like, oh, people are getting their shots in on the Ravens.
I didn't even think about that, Jake. 10 years ago, Wally Williams like, well, fuck Ronnie Stanley.
Which was weird. It's like, what
brought it up, but
yeah. It's like this kid literally just got drafted from Notre Dame, and all of a sudden we've got Wally Williams calling him. I was like, what? Like, and I remember at the time because like this
old
was
10 head syndrome, man.
Yeah, I was younger. I was like, wait, Wally Williams, who's that? And like, I remember like at the time refreshing my memory, and then I forgot about that name probably until now.
When he played, was it 2005? I'm not cheating right now. I'm about to Google it. That was like 04 to 09. Was that when Wally Williams was a Raven? I'm looking up right now.
It was 96 to 98. He moved here with Cleveland.
Yeah. I looked this up this week.
That's fucking insane. I thought it was in the two. See, Taylor, you were like, I don't know ball. I don't fucking know either. I don't know. Wally Williams. There you go. He played from 96 to 99. He didn't win a Super Bowl here. 3 years, got moved here with Cleveland on his rookie contract, I guess. What the fuck?
And look, I like we're on here doing takes. He's obviously become a guy that does takes. Like, get your take off. Like, that's fine, but we are getting to a point. Jake said, maybe you guys have already said this. Jake said this in our group chat. It's so true. Like, this like performative pessimism thing in how we're doing the commentary, really about this team, but really about sports in general. It's like it so shows itself and stuff like that, where it's like not really in what he said now. If you want to watch Ronnie Stanley play and be like, blah, 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 he stinks. Like, okay, that's not what I think, but think it. But like to come out of Notre Dame and be like, oh yeah, the guy's soft for plays one down of NFL football. It's such a classic. Like, let me just call a guy soft because I played in the league.
Yeah,
I don't totally get that. Like,
there's something more there. Ronnie Stanley ignored him or ignored his kid at some camp.
Yeah, probably.
That had to be the case.
Doesn't like Notre Dame. Who knows? There's, there's a million different.
And it's like we're looking at this offensive line, and Ronnie Stanley is the guy we're going to be calling out this year, Wally. Like, really? Like, I feel like there may be
if you're going to call an offensive lineman, there's so much ammunition.
Your point, Taylor, like, this is his take is the perfect combination of old head syndrome and performative pessimism. Yeah. It's actually a beautiful take. It's actually beautiful now that I think about it. But also, I've got Ronnie Stanley's back in this.
Yeah,
Mark here says Ronnie Stanley, his old age, has developed a fondness for throwing guys out of the club. He got fatter and meaner with his old man strength. Yeah, he has gotten a little more sassy.
He's not eating the lean meats that you guys were DMing about on Instagram a couple years ago.
Right.
He switched over to that ground beef.
He's got that 80-20 fatty beef. He's just eating it now. He doesn't care anymore. He doesn't care about his freaking lipid intake.
He's not Brooks Koepka with the steak from Japan, the A5 Wagyu. I actually refuse to eat steak in the States now. I can't even do it. Marity's like, really? Like, yeah.
I refuse to play golf on Live Golf now. I don't know where I'm going to play golf, and I'm not playing on Live Golf.
Whatever. You guys think I care about any of this shit? Whatever.
Yeah, I don't care. Like, you tell me where to play. Whatever.
See you at the PGA. You want to play a par 5? Play a par 5.
He's going to be playing at fucking Pop Stroke or Pop Shot, whatever the hell it's called. Steelers don't have DK Lynn Metcalf. They don't have Calvin Austin. They don't have
what a press conference, by the way.
What is that?
The fitted backwards baseball cap with that guy at the press conference.
This is why I wish the Browns had Judkins tomorrow, because I actually think it's an interesting game, a more interesting game if he's on the field. Like, they just would have had an ability, I think, to be a little more like to keep the Steelers honest defensively. I love Judkins.
It might, though, in turn, force them to have to be more creative in the pass game and like go into it. Like, we got to confidently, here you go, Shedeur. You want your fucking shot. Here's the Steelers needing to win a game.
Give them the keys to the car.
Just give them the keys.
Cut them loose.
I have been quietly a huge Shedeur. Jake might kind of know this. I have quietly been a huge Shedeur fan since the beginning of this. When he was like 17 years old, I was like, why is he not a 5-star? He's a 4-star? What the fuck? I've quietly been waiting on my boy he's got some developing to do, but man, 3.5 point fit. Should we just all bet $500 on the Steelers to cover and like -2.5 by a point? Like, should we all just be betting $500? Should we all just hedge emotionally?
Well, If you want to pay my bills for the month, yeah.
Should we all just place 5 units of whatever your unit is on the Steelers? Like, is that what has to happen? Do we have to buy this win?
I can do 5 units.
5 units on the Steelers. Should we all just collectively come together and see if we can get Mr. Perfect timing and have Vegas on his side? Whatever. My second tinfoil accoutrement of the night.
Chuck McGill has entered the chat.
Chuck McGill is back, baby. 6 of the 7 AFC teams are clinched. 6 of the 7 AFC teams are clinched. Broncos, Bills, Patriots, Chargers, Texans, Jags. It leaves one spot. Week 18. I've been saying it all along. 6-7, 6-7. Oh my God. We got it in the chat. 6-7. Nate Malinowski, Dior. The conspiracy theory's on. Why are the Steelers 3.5-point favorites? They're playing like the best team in the AFC. It's in Cleveland, 37.5. The weather's, I think, fine. Why is that that way? Why is that? Brian, I know Brian, whose line is it anyway? I know Brian's going, what? Why is that? That's fish. That's fish. The Steelers are 1-5-1 against the Browns. Yep, great point. The Steelers are 1-5-1 against the Browns in Cleveland since 2018. Stefanski has put them in a torture chamber there. And I don't know what's happening.
You know what I'm going to be waiting for is our guy NFL Ref Stats to be in the DMs this week to tell us all about it, who it's going to be. And I'm hoping that it's going to be Alex Moore, who's the guy who had Ravens Steelers and just absolutely bungled a bunch of those calls. Isaiah Likely in the end zone being the chief one. That would give me some real hope for this one. So NFL Ref Stats, you're active in our DMs already. Hit us up and let us know about that Steelers Browns game because we will be watching it with serious intent.
I don't get it. How on God's green earth are the Steelers only 3.5-point favorites? It was 3 and it was 2.5. Kevin Sullivan here, super chat says, watch this one with my best friends, diehard Packers fan. Enjoy the domination from Henry. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year's, boys. Love y'all. Said some nice things to me about Tutu and RIP Tutu and for once go Browns. If there's just and we did watch the Bengals last year. There was Hard Knocks. Right, AFC in-season Hard Knocks, and we watched the Bengals all sitting on Joe Burrow's couch or whatever it was, and they lose, and I would think that's the outcome, but it is the NFL. It's any given Sunday, and guess what? That game's going to have some viewership in the state of Maryland. I'll tell you that much.
I'm putting my tinfoil hat on real quickly. I don't know if this was brought up already. From an NFL perspective, Week 18 is looking weak from a winner-take-all standpoint, fellas. Do they want Bucks, Panthers in the division clinching marquee? Maybe. Baker versus Bryce Young for all the marbles? Maybe. But you know what's a more appetizing game to put in that spot? Steelers-Ravens for the division title, which has been in that spot a million times in other weeks. So and there's really no other intrigue other than I think the NFC number 1 seed is like the only other thing that has kind of anything going on.
Both 1 seeds, I think, could go.
Both 1 seeds, but not as good as a winner.
What the fuck is that?
That's they want a team playing for playoff berths in that Sunday night slot next week. That's what they always want, or in the primary slots.
I think what they need to do is add another week. Make it a week 19. That'll make these more consequential.
Yeah, or week 20. Play 20 weeks.
Yeah, what they should do actually, Taylor, is they should go to the European soccer method where you do a fall and then you do a quick break in the winter and then you come back for the Rückrunde, as they'd say in Germany, and go all the way through May. And then, that's what I'm looking forward to.
Taylor Hodges right. San Fran, Seattle would be the other game that would get this treatment because.
But they're both clinched, no?
But they're both clinched. It would be for the number 1 seed, best team in the NFC game, which would be a great game and will be a great game and meaningful.
It's for the Ravens and Steelers, and if it comes down to
the division, that's the game.
Yes, but win and you're in. And that to me, I think to everyone, like the loser season's over game trumps the bye game 100 out of 100.
100% agree. So that'd be the other thing. Then the NFL would potentially have 2 division winner, loser leaves town game, winner take all, which would be Bucks, Panthers, and Ravens, Steelers, which would be so funny if the 4 quarterbacks involved in those games were Tyler Huntley, 43-year-old Aaron Rodgers, Bryce Young, who throws 5-yard passes with every single throw. After I watched Bucks Panthers last week, what an offense that is to watch.
Beat to shit Baker.
And Baker, who legitimately looks hurt. Like he's
playing injured.
Yeah.
He's not playing hurt. He is playing injured, it looks like.
Yeah. So those might not be the most exciting games, but which stinks actually for Baker because, man, now they have all the weapons back there. They really should be more explosive, and they kind of can't get out of their own way in Tampa.
I think that might be more like a coaching for their job bowl. Like I don't think Canales is going to be done in Carolina, but you never know with Tepper. And I feel like Bowles is firmly on the hot seat.
I think Bowles is very much on the hot seat. Bowles is a little bit in Bowles. Tough situation. They've had a lot of injuries as well. Like they have not had their full complement of players for a lot of the year. And what's really happened to them is they won all the close games early and they're losing all the close games late. So it looks worse, but they won so many close games, weird comebacks, field goals at the end. So
they lost Kalijah Cansey, their big first round pick last year, who looked really, really good. Zion McCollum, their cornerback that they signed to a big contract, he's out. Tristan Wirfs has been banged up. Obviously, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin.
Ibuka got hurt in the middle of the year. Bucky Irving was
hurt. Bucky Irving was hurt most of this season. I played 5 fantasy football leagues. I had Bucky Irving in 5 out of 5 leagues. I drafted him in the first round of 3 of them like a lunatic. So that one just especially has been scarring me. So yeah, I'm fully in, Taylor. I'm fully in, and a lot of it would just be intrigue, right? Is Lamar going to play? He's not. On that Wednesday. Next Wednesday, is he going to practice? Everybody's watching. NFL Network, checking your notifications. Oh, is Lamar going to play? DK is suspended. Like, there's a lot of storylines. A lot of storylines.
Might be some BS Ewing theory there, though. We saw how much better they looked.
Massive Ewing theory candidate.
Yeah, they actually know how to run the football when he's not in the game, so which is hilarious because he's the greatest dual threat in NFL history.
It would be a prime time Ewing theory situation, like as prime time as it gets. If they ripped off 2 consecutive wins and got to the playoffs with Tyler Huntley,
should it be Tyler Huntley? And then some people would have to take of like, oh well, Lamar has been hurt. So
I mean, legitimately, I can't believe we're going this road. If Tyler Huntley wins next week in a winner take all game, I think he has to start the first playoff game.
Depends on the game, I think.
I think it's just hard. To argue either side.
I mean, Lamar would start the playoff game if healthy.
It's going to be Buffalo, and you want to talk about the National Fixed League? They are going to be putting all the fix in to get Lamar Jackson versus Josh Allen if they can get it.
Very true.
That's not even
wearing a Lamar Jackson shirt. I love Lamar. I'll say this: the Ravens have beat 2 playoff teams this year: the division champ Chicago Bears and the Green Bay Packers. They have scored 30 and 41 in those games. The Ravens scored 32 other times this season, I believe. And Tyler Huntley started both those games.
Tyler Huntley, the NFC North Reaper, just the revenant, like he just murdering Bears left and right. And now he's taken a cheese grater to this Packers organization. Cheese grater hats, by the way, how did that not become in style until this year? That feels like it should have been a slam dunk for the past 100 years, however long the Packers have been in existence.
The question is, will we see other anti-mascot hats permeating throughout the league?
That's a cottage industry that has not been tapped into yet, and I feel like we should probably stop talking about it so we can get into this offline and make all the money off of it.
Like that's a good call. Big toilet brushes for the Browns.
Sure.
What else do we have? What do Raiders and Buccaneers hate? Like medicine,
police,
neckties.
Waves crashing over the boats.
There we go.
Typhoon, the Leviathan.
Typhoon. And it was cool. The 2 things I want to say that just came to mind too. I know we're going on hour 16 of this show right now, but it's Saturday night. The boys are talking. So I don't think Tyler Huntley put the ball in danger once tonight, did he? I don't think a ball.
He had third and goal, forced it when he could have run it in.
Yeah, I need to watch a replay of that one.
Really the only bad decision he made.
Yeah, I would need to watch that probably, yeah. But I don't think he put the ball in. I don't know. I need to replay 6-7. I don't know. Did he put the ball in danger? Did it hit off someone's hands? Whose hands did it hit?
I think it was just a force into coverage. It was a dangerous throw.
I think Taylor's guy Blackledge was saying he was lucky it was not picked off, which announcers love saying that, and I think he probably was right in that case.
Yeah,
I admit defeat there, but then just seeing Lamar on the sideline, like involved after everything everyone says this week was nice, and he did grab the headset at one point before Huntley had that boot, and was yelling something into the headset, which you just love to see. And Lamar and Huntley love each other. The Chiefs Grader thing was fucking awesome, and those guys are buddy boys. And I don't know, like Cooper Rush, sorry, get fucked, buddy. I'm sorry.
Wally Williams and Cooper Rush just catching strays on the episode.
Wally Williams is not a stray. That was straight high beams on coming right at you, Wally Williams. Cooper Rush is a stray. But let's give Tyler Huntley like $15 million. For some length of time. Eric DeCosta,
5 years, 15 million, 3 million.
3 years, 15 mil.
If he doesn't come in as the backup next year, it honestly doesn't make any sense. Like, I mean, he's essentially established himself as Lamar Jackson's guy.
Well, you can go get yourself.
And maybe he's a better guy to have in the room.
Tyler Huntley fucking called up Eric DeCosta.
Tyler Huntley's calling Shedeur Sanders tonight. I mean, this guy is putting it overtime. He's signing himself to the team, winning 2 games for them, and then he's calling. This guy is like the employee of the year. Like, it's got to be the year-end sales conference. He's going to get himself a nice little plaque and a trip to Hawaii, and maybe for the Pro Bowl again.
He might be in the fucking Pro Bowl. He might be 2-time Pro Bowler, Tyler Huntley. There is very few cooler jerseys a gentleman of Baltimore affliction can have than a Tyler Huntley jersey. Judge Baltimore says he's buying a Tyler Huntley jersey. A number 2 Tyler Huntley jersey is just clean as a whistle. Just that.
I like the 5 on him. It's a little more mature. It harkens back to Flacco, and I know it just rankles Brian. It just gets his hackles up whenever anybody else wears 5. So I like that about it too.
Do we want to talk at all about Brian's travails at Lambeau?
We got some great content out of it. Hopefully we can stick some of that together and throw it up. A video in the bathroom that was like largely unintelligible. I don't know who was supposed to be fighting whom, but some Midwestern accents, the likes of which you would see on like a season of Fargo, potentially, just going back and forth about God knows what. And at one point, somebody talking about their fantasy team and saying, get the fuck out of the fantasy land and live in reality, something like that. Screaming about Derrick Henry, screaming about Malik Willis. It was quite somebody
was screaming out how they rent out their house but they're tired of mediocre football. It was truly, and yeah, I don't know if legally that can even see the light of day, but it was for at least our eyes, it was good content and all appropriate. I just want to say that for the record, but yeah. It was something. It's exactly what you expected. I can only imagine how many times he yelled bully ball at the Packers fans around him. I'm sure that was going on. Yeah. I wish we'd gotten a full-on vlog. He's with family, so he's certainly not going to make it all about content. You got to spend time with your family.
And he also did kind of give us a caveat that he had to kind of be on the best behavior tonight. He maybe wasn't on, when was that, the Thanksgiving game, he said something like that.
Yeah. So maybe it was just as both of us were trying to podcast in our significant others' families' houses, trying to find the entire time.
Yeah, there was that too, and he literally had to drop out of it halfway through with no explanation. So there might have been, he might have some debts that he's kind of currently paying back with high interest, and that could have been cashed in on tonight.
So good. I love that he was there. I absolutely loved that he was there. Like, as things were happening, him being there was making me enjoy the game more, because I was just thinking about him reacting in the stadium to the game. By the way,
did you like that little monkey wrench I threw in for Brian, lying to him about James Prochet being on the Packers?
Yeah.
That was good. That was good. That got him going a little bit.
He was shook about that.
And is he active?
Is he was definitely staring at the sidelines, being like, "Where is he?"
Yeah.
James Prochet is a Titan currently.
Okay.
RDT's got him.
Eric, yeah.
Eric's guy. I would also say this, like, very well. It is currently 12:37, 11:37 if you're Mr. Taylor Smyth.
No, I'm in Maryland.
Oh, shit. Sorry. Yeah, sorry for excluding you from your own home state.
Okay.
12:37. In about 14 hours, we might be really sad So I would say this, with those 14 hours, please head over to Steelers Twitter. Please go to Blitzberg, I think. Yeah, go to Blitzberg at Blitz_Berg and just look at the replies. They're like tweeting stuff about how the Steelers have struggled in Cleveland. Steelers fans are having a miserable Saturday night right now. The Steelers won 5-1. People are talking, well, we've got Aaron Rodgers this time. Well, we had Ben too. All kinds of stuff. So at least just go browse through there, take a little solace. We don't know what's going to happen. The Ravens, dumb pricks, have seceded the ability to control their own destiny to the Pittsburgh Steelers and ultimately really to Shedeur Sanders and the Cleveland Browns. So take a little time, head over there. They're freaking out. So been kind of perusing through there over the last hour or so.
Maybe my favorite guy, radio guy in Pittsburgh, Andrew Filipponi. What do you make of the Steelers 2026 quarterback depth chart? 1, Malik Willis. 2, Will Howard. 3, Mason Rudolph. I'd be intrigued. You're already giving up on Rodgers there, Pony. Come on, man. He's looking great for you. He's going to lead you guys to the playoffs here. You're probably going to win a game. Maybe go on and win the Super Bowl. You can't give up on this Aaron Rodgers thing. You got to keep Tomlin. You got to keep this thing rolling. That's my thought.
Unbelievable. I also thought, I have him blocked. I also thought he was so much older than he was. So much older than he was. He's smack talking the Ravens, all kinds of stuff. Go, just go have a blast. That's all I have to say.
He's my favorite guy. He's there's some kayfabe there. I think he's great. Kind of reminds me of no. I'll save that for the group chat.
What do we think happens, boys?
Do you like head or heart?
Yes.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna. Yeah, no. I love my guy Shedeur. I love my guy Shedeur, but this is an uphill task that I don't think he's up for tomorrow.
This is a tough game for Shedeur. And a tough game for the Browns. I think this is interesting in the first half, and the Steelers win 20-10. And it's a slog, and it's kind of a slow death.
We're going to have hope.
I will say this.
Yeah.
Rodgers and Tomlin were kind of peacocking off the field last week. If they blew out the Browns, I wouldn't be surprised. Like, they might have kind of come together as a pair winning that game last week. It felt like their energy. I don't know if I'm sure the relationship's totally fine, but there was a little weird, like, we're now confident energy to that walk off of the field of Detroit. I did not like that in terms of needing the Steelers to lose the game this week. If they were up 20-0 at the half, I would not be surprised at all. But
there is
either way, this feels like a Steelers win. A Browns win would be, Shedeur. It would be the Shedeur peacock off the field. If they beat the Steelers in the spot, will be epic, and I would sign up so much for that. But
I like Tomlin. Unironically, I like and respect Tomlin, but I do feel like every once in a while when he has one of those games where he's like pointing at the camera and pounding his chest and just really overdoing it,
blowing kisses to the Ravens.
That's a big setup for a letdown spot the next week. Like he rides the way, like the thermals, and then he flies into the sun like a lot of the time. So I don't know. Like that's my fan fiction, my hope. I don't know. Maybe that's my copium. I don't know.
Yeah, my thought was it almost wasn't him doing the chest pounding. It was like Rodgers doing the chest pounding for him. And I was like, oh, does Aaron Rodgers kind of feel like he feels like he can like get to the AFC Championship game with his team somehow? That's what it looked like to me. And I was like, oh, no. But
Rodgers is on a cocktail of opioids and uppers that could kill a fucking Martin Scorsese lead. He is on a bender of Wolf of Wall Street proportions on. Someone says, y'all just shit talking, not gonna lie. Yeah. It's 1 a.m. on Saturday.
Yeah.
We're talking some shit. Anyway, I think that's the Steelers. I call the Ravens the heel. The Steelers really are a heel too. I think in the last 15 years or so, they've gotten whipped up on by the Patriots. They've gotten embarrassed in the playoffs every single time they make it, which has been quite a few times. The Ravens smeared them last year late. And I don't know. I think I think there's something to Rodgers being the most experienced one in the playoffs and the AFC side of the bracket. It's like him, Allen, and everyone else has a couple games under their belt at most. So I think it's a very close game. I don't think it's a blowout because of Scotty Miller and Marquez Valdez-Scantling. I'll probably take like a 40-plus yard touchdown tomorrow. Their receiver room is insane. You can tee off on the run game a little bit. The Browns defense in Cleveland, they've had nothing to play for weeks, for months, really. So there's a little something. Myles Garrett's sack record. The Browns can trick themselves into that one very much so. But I think the Steelers figure out how to get it done. They are really physical. That offensive line is very physical. They are missing a guard. But I think we see that. I think we see Boswell fucking hit some stupid 57, 59-yard field goal and stick a dagger in the Ravens. But and we got this. Occupy says we need a miracle. The Ravens have a 0.00001 chance, less than that. Steelers are 3.5-point favorites and are missing TJ Watt. Jalen Ramsey's banged up. They don't have DK Metcalf, Calvin Austin. They're starting left guard. They're missing quite a bit. And the Browns are a little bit too, but stranger things have certainly happened. And Stranger Things on Netflix. Do you guys watch that?
I liked the first season. Second season was okay, and I fell off after that. And people are not loving this most recent one, so I am probably not going to catch up.
I've watched about 5 episodes of the first season.
It's okay. Ever. It's okay. Occupy says you guys going live tomorrow. Possibly.
Brownies win. Of course I'm going live. I'd be very happy about that.
Yeah, we'll see. TBD. But awesome win for the Ravens. Awesome moment for Derrick Henry, who has the most 200-yard rushing games of all time, posted the most rushing yards in Lambeau Field history by a visitor with 216 at his age and with the amount of wreckage that he's put on himself. Derrick Henry's touchdowns by season, 5-5, 12 rushing touchdowns. Not sure if there's rushing touchdowns. Might be total. 5-5, 12, 16, 17, 10, 13, 12, 16, and now with one game left, 16 again. Dude is putting up tutties like nobody's business, and just a legacy performance, another one. One of 7 200-yard games for Derrick Henry. We'll remember this one. I think we'll remember this.
He's one of the best players in football history.
Correct.
I mean, it's I know running backs are kind of like it gets a little washed out in this day and age of all the big passing numbers and the quarterback kind of taking center stage. But this guy is just this guy is a different breed. It's insane. And this was awesome to watch, regardless of how the season ends.
Very cool. Good for Derrick Henry. I hope that the Ravens can figure their shit out, whether it's right now by accident, via perfect timing, or next year for him, because that dude deserves a ring. He has done nothing short of just be, like you said, Jake, an all-time great, a stud off the field. He was him and Lamar fucking washing children's feet 10 days ago for the holidays and putting new shoes on them. Does anybody on earth have a bad thing to say about Derrick Henry? Not that I've ever heard. So we'll remember this game. 1 of 7, 4 touchdown performance, his career high. So fucking cool. Good for Tyler Huntley. I think he made himself millions and millions of dollars tonight and earned himself some trickle down, you know what, from Blue Mountain State, going back to Alex Moran. A little bit of that good, that muff pie from Mr. Moran there. So Tyler Huntley, awesome performance. Ravens, awesome performance. Shadur, see what you got. Can you do it? Can you do it for? I feel like the Ravens are Deion's favorite NFL team. Do it for your dad's favorite team. Deion fucking loves the Ravens.
He would root when he was doing the Barstool shows. He would always pick them. He roots hard for them. Friends with a lot of the guys, play it, obviously had that great 2004 season for them. We're number 37. Let's get our 37 Deion Sanders jerseys out tonight. I know plenty of you are out there with them. Let's break those out of the closet and wear them tomorrow in honor of his sweet son, his large adult son, Shedeur Sanders.
Coach Prime. Go Myles Garrett.
They told me to bust out my AP. Perfect time.
Broadcast, very good.
Yeah. Yeah. We do have to cover that. Blackledge, Baby Bird.
Captain
I
Blackledge.
would say elite.
Since when has Blackledge been calling games? I feel like
He has been doing college football on ABC for ESPN for a long time, and they moved him over, or he moved over to NBC when they got the Saturday night Big Ten package with the Baby Bird, the rising star, maybe already a star, the biggest star, no Eagle.
Yep.
And they're very good. They had a very good call of the Penn State Oregon dramatic game this year. They're just good. They're just really good. Blackledge, I think, is one of the more underrated analysts of the game. He doesn't talk too much. He really sees the game well. And I said this to you guys. I think for an NFL audience, he's just not overexposed if you don't also watch college football.
Yeah.
So I think he kind of brings a fresh perspective. And then, I mean, Noah's kind of been doing it for a few years now. I think the book is out there. Everyone knows how good he is. And his wordplay is sort of like his dad. And kind of how he goes about his business. He's super prepared. But I think Blackledge is a guy that I thought he really broke things down well, and he just doesn't overtalk. This is the thing that gets me every time I hear a person that's good, is when I start thinking about Romo. I'm like, why do you keep talking? When Blackledge is just getting in and out, he knows he has a guy next to him that can really talk. So don't overtalk. Eagle sets things up for him.
It reminds me of my 7-iron, Jim.
Yes, so I thought they were really good. And then that's the Sunday Night Football production, essentially. It's obviously the understudy of it. It's probably a lot of the crew that does that Big Ten Saturday night game, and that's an incredibly well produced broadcast from NBC does an amazing job with sound and camera. I mean, they're just so good.
Sound and camera was unbelievable tonight.
Got to shout out my Queen Maria. I was watching with my guys, Coach. Yeah, we had Florida,
QB Chris Sims,
Chris. Of course, Uncle Chris. Everyone picking the Packers, but my Queen Maria Taylor picking the Ravens. Only one on an island, so I got to give her.
We were the game with 2 minutes left, and they iced it. My dad turns to me and goes, "Good job by Maria Taylor." I said, "Well said."
Huge.
Yeah. So really good broadcast. NBC. I feel like we said this. We've been on NBC a few times last month. It's just the pre and half. I just have no interest in watching that halftime show. You go back to that studio and I hear Maria say the first couple words and I say, I'm walking into the kitchen. There's just not a ton there. And Clapper really tries. Man, he tries. He tries to bring some energy.
It's really heartbreaking.
Tries to be funny. It just doesn't translate for me. Maybe there are big Clapper people out there. I don't want to cast any aspersions. TV is a very subjective game, but that pre and post just does nothing for me. I don't know what they need to find something.
We got to get a 3-man booth: Catalan, Clapper, Romo. That would be just a blender.
And Charles Davis.
Throw McCourty in there. Just do a full panel. Maybe get Rich.
I just winced. It was fine until you said Charles Davis, and I winced.
I'll give Catherine Tappan credit. I thought you get credit for when the interview was entertaining. I thought the LaFleur frustrated interview coming out of half was awesome. So whatever she got to hit that out of him, and him being, maybe that was just me as maybe if I was a Packers fan, I'd be like, we'll figure it out, man. But I thought that was really good TV. So I thought it was good.
If the Browns win tomorrow, we are going live, and we're all going to have to wear hoodies with blazers over them, and we're going to have to sincerely break down that game and try to give the X's and O's takes.
And by the way, if this is a winner take all game next week, we're back with Mike and Chris. We're right back to NBC. There's no
Jake, shout out to us also. We got Centelled basically. Chris Collinsworth is fine.
Yeah, no, I saw that immediately. I was kind of confused when you brought it up. I was like, oh,
it was
really?
probably my fault.
Yeah.
But I got Centelled in some way.
Chris, you were at the game too, and to my thrills and delights, I turn on the game and there's Uncle Chris. He doesn't slide in anymore, but he metaphorically slid in. I was like, oh, Chris is, we're good.
Yeah, Chris is good, but also I really enjoyed NBC's coverage tonight. I thought it was also it was balanced. I also appreciated it's so easy to just talk about Lamar and Jordan Love the entire game, and they just fucking did. That was, I thought, the best part as a fan of one of the teams that was playing. They really could have, and good for that. Good on them. And Huntley and Willis played well enough that it was even deserved more so. But early on, like, I don't know, there's a couple quick plays, very easy, low-hanging fruit that they didn't take. And to spotlight those two backup quarterbacks, I thought, like, think about Malik Willis's family, Tyler Huntley's family watching that game. Maybe Willis, maybe both of them were at the game. I don't know, for all I know. But their friends, their family and stuff, like, they really let those two guys get their shine when they played well and didn't make it about Lamar and Jordan Love. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah. The other thing that you noticed is like little things like Blackledge, and this shows you when somebody's prepared. Blackledge set up that Daniel Falele compliment by acknowledging that there has been concerns about his play. And really, like, no national person is talking about Daniel Falele. Like, that is a very localized piece of criticism that really just comes, I think, mostly from, like, local beat people, obviously, but that is a very, like, online conversation.
He's not really on the Ronnie Stanley story, though. That's the one criticism I have for him.
Yeah. He did not talk enough about Ronnie and his, whether he was soft or not.
You know,
like,
no, there's this guy Williams I've been talking
to. You're
to.
a Ravens fan watching that game. You say to yourself, oh, okay. Like, he kind of gets it. And then he set it up, and it was a really nice play that Falele made on, I can't remember which play he was breaking down. But, like, that is somebody that, like, got in, you know, some deep preparation. Yeah, I mean, that's like what you're looking for. I think the biggest thing that fans get annoyed by sometimes is when there's just, like, praise heaped on players without an acknowledgement maybe that there's another side of that coin. And look, especially former players in the booth, like, they are going to side with players, and that is fine. We don't need to always be criticizing players over and over and over. It gets a little exhausting. But when you can hold that on one side and then also, you know, build the guy up when he made a really nice play and showed his athleticism and showed what I'm sure they're saying to them in the production meetings, like, hey, there's some criticism about Daniel Falele. Why do you continue to play him? The team gives that thought in, you know, and I think he even backed up with Harbaugh saying how athletic he is or whatever it was. Like, that's really good. That showed context on one side of it, context from what the team is giving, and then observing what's happening on the field. Like, that's really, really good. As opposed, this is where I go back to
that's all you ask
Romo, who's like, well, Jim, you know, when we go to Pebble Beach this week, it's like I you know, that's where I start to, like, lose it with.
All you can ask for as a fan is to examine it from an outsider's perspective and look at both sides, and then examine the play as it occurs and give good breakdown, like from the color guy. To have Blackledge give that good breakdown of it is high quality stuff. I thought I was actually borderline blown away by how calm and it was. Baby Bird was fucking good too. Like, he is sharp as attack. He's up next. Baby Bird is the new star, I would say, of the play-by-play.
And Baby Bird rises to the get off me for the Henry stiff arm was perfect.
Yeah.
Like,
he's so literally perfect. And I mean this as a compliment, he is a carbon copy of his dad. Like, they have the same, like, way to, like, elevate their voice in certain moments, and, like, they both have, like, I like that they have kind of a jovial nature and, like, a joy for what they're doing without getting into the Romo territory of, like, whenever there's 10 seconds of just kind of muffled dead air and he tries to, like, slip in some joke about what he had for lunch that just doesn't land, and you can just, like, feel Nance's, like, uncomfortability, like, in that situation.
Or Ross Tucker just, like, making jokes to make fucking jokes.
Taylor's guy, Ross Tucker.
Jonathan Vilma making a 6'7" reference with Trump in the booth.
Yeah.
Like, Blackledge and Noah and Ian and JJ Watt kind of have the same thing going on. Blackledge is almost like the dad with Noah the son, and Ian is like the dad with Watt the son, and they kind of, like, joke around in the same way. Because you're right, Jake. They're, like, happy to be there and keep it light without making it a, like, joke fest, which is, like, a very hard line to find, because a lot of times fans are like, stop joking around. This is the most serious thing that happens in my entire week.
Yeah.
And when you're able to kind of keep the broadcast, like, fun in that way, that is when you know you're doing a very good job. And both of those, like, Blackledge and Noah, have very good chemistry very quickly. And JJ and Noah's dad have very good chemistry as well. And they're the crew you want if you have CBS. Like, it's fortunately, and I love Jim. And I think I watched that freaking Romo clip from the AFC Championship game, Patriots Chiefs, and you watch it and you're like, oh my God, this guy's the greatest analyst that's ever existed. So it's, like, sad that it's now we've gotten to the point where I sort of like, when he comes on, I'm like, I like you, Tony, but I just
when did Jim say he's gonna retire? 2035 will be his last.
He's doing the Masters. He's doing the Masters till, like, till the 100th one, I think.
Yeah, he said. He specifically said, "I'm doing, like, the 100th Masters or whatever it is." like 2030.
Already dropped the college hoops, obviously. That's been Iron Eagle for a couple years on the Final Four. He's 66. Maybe he'll do the NFL till he's 70. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know if he's picked an NFL date, but when is there? Who has the Super Bowl this year? I'm sure people are really into this, like an hour and a half into this. But he's going to end on a Super Bowl. All these guys end on the Super Bowl. So NBC is this year. So whenever CBS has a Super Bowl next, that would make sense too.
I love Al Michaels too. I love Al Michaels to death, but every like big call that he has been put in like this season has just been, it's fallen totally flat. There's Henry, and there's Henry. That's essentially what it comes down to. And
CBS
not
is
in like a Pat Summerall way.
CBS has 27 and 31. So I think it's either of those years. It would be stunning if he didn't go out on the Super Bowl, like Madden did, and like a lot of these guys Al Michaels should have done, did not do. Yeah, Michaels and Herb Street is that pair is so weird on Thursdays.
Tough.
Oh, it's just Herb Street sounds totally uninterested. He's just a college guy. He's just got to stick with he took the bag. Fair enough. Like I like Kirk. I think he's good. And Michaels, by the way, Michaels is 82. It's still incredibly impressive. He's calling games at that level at 82. It's like,
especially having never eaten a vegetable.
It's like insane how good he is for you. He's just not what people want because he's calling the game super flat. People want the Harlans and the Eagles. They want it to be raised and whatever. So that's my broadcast take. That's our broadcast discussion as we get past 90 minutes.
Blackledge kind of sounds like Joe Theismann a little bit. I was like, is this Joe Theismann? It's like, oh no, it's Todd Blackledge. NFL quarterbacking legend, Todd Blackledge.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I feel like we're giving a little bit of a googly, but we can do that tomorrow. So 41-24, is that the final score? Ravens put this one away, exercised a lot of demons, was bittersweet, but again, I'll just say, like, let this Henry game stand alone as a really cool performance from, like you said, Jake, an all-time great player.
Absolutely. Well, we appreciate everyone hanging with us here right through to almost the end of this season. And if this was, in fact, the last competitive burst of football that we saw from the 2025 Baltimore Ravens, it was a welcome one after a very difficult year. But we appreciate everyone hanging with us along the way. And hopefully there is more to talk about on the competitive football front as we go forward. But we'll be covering it all regardless of what goes down. Like we said, maybe go live tomorrow if the Browns somehow pull a rabbit out of their head, as Jason Witten would say. And then, we'll be throughout the week in the lead up to that Steelers game, regardless of what the import of the game is going to be. So if you liked what you heard and you want to hear more, subscribe to us here on YouTube, like our video, comment on tonight's video. Let us know what you thought about the game, what the Ravens got to do to go into Pittsburgh and win, if in fact that game does have meaning. If you want to follow us on social media, you can do that at Exit 52 Podcast on X and on Instagram. You can also find me on X at Jake Louque. That is Louque. Spenny's at Ravens 4 Dummies. That is the number 4. Taylor at Taylor Smyth 10. Brian at Northwood Banks, and Eric at EDI TTI 22. Till next time.
See you.
Arrivederci.